fellas.
What up, dog?
What's good with it? Yes, sir.
How you doing?
What up, my boy?
Y'all play the same position?
Yeah, we play the same position.
You're a little bigger than you are, see? You look a little taller.
It's just genetics.
I know he's faster.
We don't get to pick our parents,
True.
right? Genetics is a real life
They
thing.
playing or something.
Yeah, some of us are blessed with a little bit more when we leave the hospital than others. But it's what you do with it, though. You know what I'm saying? It's what you do with it.
Vaughn in his young career now, he's doing something with it.
No, he a baller. But what I'm saying is, yes, I didn't have all that. But 13 years later, you know what I'm saying, I walked away when I wanted to.
That's a good number for you.
Yeah, you see that, huh?
You
Yeah.
wearing the 1-3. You wearing Big Dan. I feel you, brother.
I don't like that. Big Dan. I don't like the way that
Reno?
I don't like the way that sounds.
Big Dan. I don't say Big Daddy.
Hold up, limitless, take a stomach guy pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Limitless, take a stomach guy pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Limitless, take a stomach guy pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up.
Man, welcome to the show, Jevon Holland.
Thank you, man.
Big time safety, Miami Dolphins. This is The Pivot, a part of Fanatics, Channing Crowder, Fred Taylor. I'm Ryan Clark. Channing was talking about you before you came in, and he was like, yeah, one day he's going to take our jobs. The problem is people at your position make so much money now, you probably aren't going to want to do our jobs and travel around the way we do. He mentioned your father, though, and he's like, man, his dad coached him and all of those things. Your pop sent you a message, and he said, I wish I had me when I was your age.
Yeah.
What was your answer to that?
I told him he was right. Man. My pops, he's got a knack for knowing when to say the right thing. That came at a time, it was like during the draft process, and I was basically just like telling him my day and how I felt, and speaking about ball with him, and he just kind of like wanted to reflect on how he gave me that ability to talk about ball, talk about myself, be able to like grow in an environment around football, something that he didn't have. It made me reflect and think about the things that he had said when I was younger, and how a lot of those things started to click as I got into deeper into my profession. One of the things was, he said, you're gonna thank yourself. Your 16-year-old self. At 18, you're gonna look back and thank yourself. At 14, you're gonna look back and thank your 12-year-old self. So sitting at 24, looking back at the times where my dad was yelling at me, my dad was, pressuring me to go to the gym, and then myself deciding to go there and put that work in, I look back and thank myself, and I thank him for, giving me those lessons. So,
awesome.
Definitely.
Bro, knowing, what I'm saying, and I'm down here in Miami, so we done crossed paths plenty of times. And just hearing your story, man, there's a thing about like, we talked about it with Caleb Williams, where both his parents were athletes like yourself.
Right.
Both his parents, it's like nature and nurture. And when I was talking about you with them, and I was like, he got molded into where he is. If you didn't have those same parents, I don't know I think you might have been a big ass dude working at churches.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
speak
no,
on that, where
100%.
like these parents, and Caleb agreed with it too. He was like, no, like they were gonna make me something.
100%. I mean, everything in my world was about ball, was about sports in general. You know what I mean? Like, it was always family football, family school football, kind of thing. So yeah, like all lessons that whether it was how we treat people outside of school, how we treat people in school, how we conduct ourselves on a daily basis, all related back to ball. I got yelled at one day for not getting up early to walk the dog, and it ended up tracking back to discipline in the field and being able to be early on time to go work out or go to the gym every day, having a structure. So yeah, my dad and my mom really, especially my dad, like, he always knew that he wanted us to play ball. He wanted us to play at a high level. So I have older brother Jameer and a younger sister Jada. So my older brother, he was on him all the time, and I was able to like see that. So I was close enough to my brother to be able to see the first one go through the path. So if he went right, I was following him. If he went wrong, I was going the opposite way. You know what I mean? Yeah, like everything in our world was all about sports, all about success and trying to better ourselves as athletes.
You mentioned the draft process. You also said your dad knew the right things to say. But during your draft process, you took the lead when a certain coach asked if you were going to change your name to Malcolm X. And you told your dad, no, I got this. Could you take us through your immediate thoughts when you heard that? You know, you basically standing up for yourself at that particular point.
It happened kind of differently. So it wasn't necessarily him asking me if I was going to change my name. It was more so a broader question of like how I was going to take my presence as a, somebody that is cemented in social justice and wanting to help people and bring that to the league, where obviously in years past, like Colin Kaepernick has had a lot of backlash from that. So I was just speaking to them freely and how I see myself as somebody with a platform, somebody with a desire to help people that are, underprivileged, underrepresented. And I told him that I wanted to speak up for them when I had the opportunity. So it wasn't necessarily him saying, am I going to change my name? But it was more so him asking me how I was going to be able to mold my presence as a social justice leader in my community to then be representing those people, and also within the confines of the rules in the NFL. So I can also have success in my profession while still representing those people.
And that was John Gruden, correct?
Yeah, it was the Raiders,
Yeah,
John Gruden, but it didn't really ask me specifically in that manner. When my dad was talking about it, my dad's an animated individual, so he tends to stretch it a little bit, but it wasn't.
It's definitely a better story when your dad tells it.
Yeah.
Like the way you tell it,
Yeah.
it actually makes sense. It's like a question about getting a guy in the locker room.
Yeah.
The way your dad tell it, like, we should riot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we should actually.
It was.
But I think that leads me to something else. You're Blanadian, right? And what I call that is a black Canadian.
Right.
So my trainer in Arizona, Ian Danny, he was a power lifter in Canada.
Right.
He was on the track team when Ben Johnson was there.
Yep.
And I always mess with him because we see things so differently, and I always tell him, that's because you're Blanadian, man. But in having that upbringing, your father playing in the CFL, actually winning a Grey Cup, but him understanding if he wanted you to be all the things they had worked with you to be, the things you had shown the talent and propensity to become, you guys needed to come to America.
Yeah.
Was there any parts of that move, though, that were difficult on you? Because those are formative years for a young man.
It was hard at first when we first got here. I was 8. We stayed, I think, like half a year out of school. I ended up going to 3rd grade, 4th grade at 2 different schools, and then halfway through 4th grade, I moved again. So kind of establishing, that like solid core of friends and finding my place on like where I wanted to be, just socially in those developmental years was kind of difficult. And in terms of football, I played for the Tri-City Titans in Fremont, which was cool. My brother played for the team. We lived in Fremont. My grandparents lived in Fremont. But the talent level was like completely different. The Oakland Rebels were like the team to beat. Like throughout the whole country, they would fly to Florida. They'll have like the championship and whatnot. So when I got to play them, I saw how different the talent level was from the Oakland Rebels to the Tri-City Titans to then back in Coquitlam when I was playing. That's when I first realized, like, all right, like I'm not the best, because I've always been like the best. I've always been the most athletic, around in my friends. And so when I went to play them, I was like, I was surprised that there were other players on the field that were kind of the same as me, and I was a kid like realizing this. Mm-hmm. So that kind of like sparked it. My dad saw that in me, and he was kind of like, if you want to be good, like you're gonna have to sacrifice some things and make some choices in life. And so that was like kind of the first part of it. And then once we moved to Pleasanton, socially, I mean, Pleasanton is a very white area, you know what I mean? So it was I felt out of place because a lot of the kids like didn't grow up the same way I grew up. The jokes didn't hit the same. They didn't have the same meals. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a separation. So there were a few of us that that I gravitated towards, and we became friends. But once I got to high school, I decided to go to Bishop O'Dowd, which is in Oakland, and that was mainly because my brother had went through Foothill, and my brother told me like it just wasn't the right environment for a young black man to grow up in, because you don't get to see and you don't get to experience everything that you would in an environment with other people that look like you, talk like you, speak like you. So when I went to O'Dowd, that's where I really felt like I found my place. You know what I mean? I mean, there was a bunch of kids there, but mostly it was a majority black school. I mean, it's on 98th and Stearns, right across from the zoo. So that's where I was able to really develop myself, my personality, who I am, people around me that talk like me, experience things like me. So that rounded me out very well.
Y'all pretty-eyed dudes don't understand the advantage y'all have. I hit Denzel Ward with the same thing. Y'all little light-eyed. Oh, a plight. Bitch, you got green eyes.
Hey, you was the exception.
Come on,
bro.
Oh, look at him. Yeah, he's fine. Yeah.
Let him in. Him right there. You right here.
They're
No,
going over the whole line.
the one with the green eyes.
Nah,
Bring
that's
him in.
crazy.
He coming in.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But coming from Canada, like that whole Canada's so nice that you had to get over. Like, were you that nice?
I
And
was
then
just
you
a-
were
I
like,
mean, I
well,
was just a
goddamn,
polite
Oakland
kid.
ain't nice like this.
I do say I remember saying like, pardon me all the time. Like, pardon me? Like, and they're like, pardon? Like, what is that? Like, my friends are saying like, what? Like, so, but I did have manners. Like, I take my shoes off when I walk into somebody's house all the time. Yeah, like, I don't know if that's a Canadian thing, but like every time I walk into somebody's house, I take my shoes off. I don't want to track no dirt that I had in from outside in, so I just take my shoes off. People like, no, keep your shoes on.
You got it off now? You ain't going to your homeboy's house taking your shoes off.
I go to my homeboy crib, take my shoes off. I'm respectful. Like, I
They
wouldn't want
got
somebody.
money.
I wouldn't want somebody to walk in my crib. Matter of fact, I got a rug in front of my door. Your shoes don't go past the rug. You walk in my house. Your shoes is off at the door. You walk around in your sock feet.
I do respect that though, because if he asks you to do that in his home, if he thinks that's important in his house,
Right.
he should do that at other people's homes. I 100% respect
We gonna
it.
lock up.
Do you have
If you
a
try to
little
go to his
stepper
house?
thing?
I'm going to his house and we locking up. I'm taking my shoe. I'm a grown ass man. I'm 40.
You're not coming to my house then.
Do you have, you've seen the little stepper things, right? Where you can step.
Yeah.
into the little-
I seen those. I mean,
No,
I got them for
still
like
gotta
so
take-
like somebody come, like plumber or something. I got them in my toolbox. I'm like, oh yeah, here you go. Like, you don't even gotta take your shoes off. Just throw these on real quick.
The little head net.
The little hair nets for his feet. I'm prepared.
Hey, that's the man house, bro.
You know
You
what I'm
gotta
saying?
follow
Imagine
the
you
rules.
walking around in your front yard. You step on a bug. You not even notice you step on a bug. Then you walk inside. You walk in your bedroom. Not a bug all in your bedroom. Bug juice all on the ground.
Bug juice.
Now, obviously, you gonna mop, but between you walking in the house on the floor with the bug juice all on the ground and the mopping day,
It get caught in the carpet.
get caught in the, don't let it have carpet. The carpet gonna be all dirty and dingy at the door.
No, but then the cleaning lady coming Wednesday.
Yeah, but she don't got the big little, you know what I'm talking about too. The little water vacuum.
my backfield ace, Maurice JonesDrew.
Yeah.
Say he coached you 7-on-7.
Yeah.
How was it growing up around Mojo, knowing what he did in his career, and then coming back home to Oakland, where he's from, to give back to the kids in the community?
It was super dope. It really was. I always knew who Mojo was because I'm a football fan. So once I found out he went to De La Salle, which is like the Catholic school, like, I mean, De La Salle like dominate everybody in California. So when I joined the 7-on-7 team, he like was our coach. And for a while, I was just like, wow, like this is Maurice JonesDrew. Like I was telling people like, yeah, I'm playing 7-on-7. Like Maurice JonesDrew's my coach. And like people who don't watch football, like, okay, like who's this guy with
Right.
two names? But Mojo's like, that's like one of the best running backs in me growing up, like watching. So it was super dope, super down to earth. Like all he wants to do is just like help the kids, help us grow, develop as men first, then ball players. So it was great. Like those long drives. We used to drive from the Bay all the way to LA. It's like 6 hours, just like shooting the shit, talking, like laughing. So
Right.
nah, that's my dog.
I mean, I know we try to go in a certain order, but since you say you're a football fan, right? I have 5 names for you,
All right.
right? And in 3 words, like a hashtag, right? Like if I said Channing Crowder,
Right.
you would say
Big,
hashtag
fine,
knees,
light-skinned.
knees like Kenny Smith or Kenny Smith knees. If I give you 5 names,
Damn. That's what he would say.
hashtag Kenny
How about
Smith
fine,
knees,
red, bad?
Nah.
No?
homeboy. But no, like Ed Reed.
I would say greatest of all time.
That's 4 or 5 words.
That's
though,
the
Jay.
Can you let the man? That's beautiful.
Okay.
That's-
All right. Tyron Matthew.
unique game changer.
All right. Sean Taylor.
Once in a lifetime.
Troy Polamalu.
4 or 5 words. Palomalu is like, there's only been him. I've only seen him play the way that he plays, like ever.
Right.
Like I've never seen anybody do the things that he's done in the way that he did it. All 3, 4 of those guys are all like generational changing safeties, athletes that change the way we view the game. You know what I mean? Like Ed Reed, like when I was growing up, all I wanted to do on the baseball field when my brother was playing was be back deep, play like Ed Reed. You know what I mean? I wanted to hit people like Palomalu. I wanted to hit people like Bob Sanders come downhill. I wanted to play receiver, running back, corner, safety, return punch, just like Tyrann Mathieu. I dyed my hair blonde just like him. Like anything I could do to try to mold my game after those individuals, like that's what.
Because he played with Troy, and you talking about Troy did things. I know Troy did things that he wasn't supposed to do, but he still made plays.
But I feel like that's what makes players so, like when you're not supposed to do something, but you do it anyway and you make a play, I feel like that's what makes players so great. Like Ed jumping a slant out the post. Like you know ball so well, and you read and you study it, and you it's such a challenge, but you're so invested in that. Like that's what makes them so great, because they trust themselves enough to know what they're supposed to do, but also know what they need to do to make a play. You know what I mean? So,
Is that a right assessment of Troy?
Yeah, and also it's a little bit of I don't care.
Yeah.
That's part of it. I mean, I think though, the thing that you have that Troy had and that Ed had that people don't talk about is the ability and willingness to study the game, to continue to work on myself, because Troy is timing up the snap. There's something that he saw that allows him to do that. There's something he knows about the formation, about the tips and tendencies of the down and distance, you know. And I remember he would always blitz cover 3, right? And so Coach LeBeau, who's a genius as well, said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to play cover 3. We're going to drop the outside linebacker and let Troy come. And he was like, no, Coach, I don't want to do that. And he was like, why? He said, the beauty is I'm not supposed to be going. Right? He's like, I'm adding 5 to the rush when it's only supposed to be 4. Right. And they were like, well, you're voiding your zone. You know, you're voiding the flat. And he's like, Ryan, to tackle it. And like, that was his thought process. And it goes to what you're saying, though, that, you know, Ed jumping. I watched Ed pick off a back shoulder from the middle of the field, right? Because he understood so much where the ball was going. And I think you grew in football in a way to do that. Another thing that Tyrann, Ed, Troy all did was got a lot of money at some point. So we're sitting around a building that is, I'm talking about, they ain't tripping.
Right.
Jalen Waddle, you get the bag.
Yeah.
Tua Tagovailoa, you get the bag.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, you already had the bag, but just because other people getting the bag and we think you deserve more of a bag than them, you get the bag too. We are giving out bags like Oprah.
Shout out to Stephen Ross, Chris Greer.
Yeah.
Boys, love y'all. Appreciate it. You
Love y'all,
know,
boys,
I've been
man.
down here in Miami 20 years. We appreciate what's going on
Right,
down
right.
here.
So I'm looking at my watch, and where it puts us today is you were a 2nd-round draft pick, so you don't have a 5th-year option, which means you can get money now. Right. When you start to see all of your teammates be rewarded in the way that they deservingly so should be rewarded, when's Jevon Holland's time coming?
It's on the way, man. It's on the way. You know, David Mulugheta is my agent. Kyle McCarthy is my agent. So it's been difficult to not think about it, because you know, like I'm on the cusp of, you know, a generational changing experience. But I just got to keep it right in front of me. Like I got to keep my vision 5 feet, because if I get too, you know, far ahead and start thinking about what ifs and this and that, then I fluster myself, and I don't need to do all that. You know what I mean? So I've paid my dues to the football gods, and I'll continue to pay my dues to the football gods, and I just hope that they, you know, pay their dues back to me and they show love back to me. So that's all I can wish for. But
how hard is that patience? There's some people who have only been working for a generational change in their family's positioning for 3 years. Mm-hmm. You've been working for this generational change your entire life. And I think that's a difference, right? Your father has been pouring this into you. Mm-hmm. Along with him pouring this into you, your brother is saying, nah, this is not where you want to be. They're helping you develop as a person.
Right.
There was like whiteboards at your house, and all of your friends thought you were strange in high school because you did all of these. Like, you have been preparing for this moment. And I thought about that because you said the football gods, right? As if there is something that's governing the game that makes it fair, but it's not. So how difficult is it to believe that right can be done?
It is very difficult. You just got to keep faith. Like, It's like a delusion almost. You know what I mean? Like I've been doing this so long. I've been putting all this work in. At some point, something has to come back to me. Like it has to. Like I haven't been doing all of this for no reason, and I know that at some point it will. You know, that's like what I keep telling myself. So it's just about, you know, staying patient. Like you said, like you just don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you just really don't know. And everybody wants to ask me about it. Like, how do you feel? Like, obviously I'm thinking about it. Obviously it's on my mind. Like, this is a boatload. I could change my family's life. You know what I mean? Like, but I just gotta stay calm and just keep on doing it day to day. Keep on keeping myself distracted with the things that I can to keep developing myself so that I'm not overstretched and thinking about it and stressed, because it's gonna add just too much cloud in my day. So just remain calm. But I mean, come on, it's like, right? I can feel it. It's not, I can feel it, but just stay calm.
They know. They know. You know, timing is everything. Obviously, you're the highest graded safety in the whole entire NFL, right? And the team, they see all of that. They play these games, and it's a timing thing, and when they hit the sweet spot, they're ready to go. But as long as you stay the course, you'll be fine. I wanted to ask you about your secondary mate, Jaylen Ramsey.
Yeah.
The confidence that he gives you, how does that help elevate your game?
He instills that confidence in me to go out there and trust myself to guess, and trust myself to just go make a play where I'm not supposed to be at. You know what I mean? To confuse the quarterback, to confuse the offensive coordinator. He is truly like a fire, and helps me be a fire for myself, but he's a fire for the defense. And like even in OTAs, I mean in training camp, I wish you guys could have seen the speech that he said after practice, but it was electrifying. For me personally, I'm seeing him as an individual who is guaranteed first ballot Hall of Fame. Like, he's done all the things. I've seen him through his whole career, watching him as a fan and now as his teammate, as a peer, seeing how he thinks. We sit next to each other in meetings, like his thought process, how he can take over plays, reading route concepts. Like, it's not just because he's a freak athlete. It's because he's doing the things that no one else will do, like watching tape, writing things down that he trusts to see and believing those in practice, like things like that. Like, he's addicted to the craft. Seeing that is helping me just, elevate myself as an individual and both as a leader and player. So.
And bringing in other safeties now. I'm interested in this to see, because, I'm down here. I love the Dolphins. Go to the games all the time. Bringing in May, bringing in Poyer.
Yeah.
And now having you, I'm telling folks, yeah, we got some bad ones in the back end. But bringing those vets in that had success in the past, like, how are y'all conversations? Like, you know what I'm saying? How you see it, how Poyer sees it, how May sees it. Y'all are really all different style of players, which I'm interested in.
Yeah, I'm asking them questions every day. Poe and Mayday, like, I'm asking, because I haven't had a vet. I had J-Mac, but he played corner for most of his career. So I'm asking Poe how he sees the game. I'm asking May how he sees the game, and I'm asking Kendall Fuller how he sees the game. Like, all of these guys have years under their belt of playing in different systems, playing around different teams, different players, and having them around is helping me just round out my game even more, because the way that they're playing things, the way that Poe sees route concepts and how the play develops, the way that Mayday fits gaps, like, bro, I mean, I've been loving it. I love the game. I'm a fanatic about it. So I'm like a kid in a candy store, just asking questions, getting pointers, things like that.
You are on a team now that is taking incremental steps every year, right? It's wild card game without your starting quarterback, and you guys go to Buffalo and put up a fight. Like, it's a tough game all the way down to the end. You play the eventual two-time champion Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City in a freaking snow blizzard, storm, freeze, ice. I don't know what the hell that was. But when players start to get paid, like they get paid here, when players are as highly thought of and the accolades start to roll in like they do here, when a coach is looked at as a young genius, as Mike McDaniel is, like, just getting there, that ain't gonna do it.
It ain't enough.
You gotta win games. You gotta become a true contender. What makes you feel that this year you and the Dolphins can take that step?
I think it's our trust. I think it's our trust in both our defense, our offense, but the overall goal of the team. Like I remember in the last 2 years, talking about the Super Bowl, a lot of teams that I've been on, like when there's an ultimate goal, you kind of want to talk about the thing that's right in front of you, take it day by day. But our goal is to win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And if you're not in the game to play to win a Super Bowl, then what are you really playing for? So it's a known thing that we are trying to win a Super Bowl. We're trying to push ourselves, compete with each other while we can to get the best out of each other. And I think that overall goal is in everybody's mind, and everybody's mindset is the same. You know what I mean? I think it's not so much I'm trying to demolish this guy because he's on offense and I'm on defense. I'm trying to demolish this guy because if I crush him, I know that next practice he's gonna try to crush me, and that makes me know that he is getting better. So I think that's what the mindset is of everybody on the team.
Is that why Tyreek beat you up at practice?
He ain't beat nobody up at practice.
Oh, he was happy till he got that deep boy.
Tyreek came in like he threw hands, man.
He ain't beat nobody up at practice, man. I ain't even going to entertain that, bro. I ain't even going to entertain that.
But no, I wanted to go back to what RC mentioned for a brief moment. That playoff game, though, versus the Chiefs. You guys were riding high, pretty much throughout the whole season. You had a few weeks that you were out due to injury. But the playoff game and witnessing greatness and Patrick Mahomes, seeing it from eye level because you were on the sideline supporting your teammates, going back and forth. I remember seeing you during the game on the broadcast. You're there talking to the secondary with the coaches, all this different stuff, trying to inspire your team to get it in gear. Talk about that experience in itself. I know it was your first playoff experience, but you had to take the mental reps, all that different stuff. Like, speak to that experience and also speak to how much of a real deal Patrick Mahomes is. Playoff P.
Right. So first, being on the sideline and not being able to affect the game in the way I want to, and just trying to help my teammates win, it really let me know that I really want to be a coach at some point. I want to be able to, bestow my knowledge upon younger individuals so that they can eventually, grow and do the same thing. So, trying to help them, I had a blast at that because I couldn't play. So I had to channel that energy into something else. Playoff P, he just gets it done. You know what I mean? That's the best way you could say it. Because I know the whole year, they were, are they going to win the Super? Are they going to make the playoffs? Are they not going to make the playoffs? And then, late in the stretch, they make a run, and it's like, okay, they're definitely going to make the playoffs. They're the number 1 seed. You got to go play them, or number 1 or 2 seed, whatnot. And so we go up to Kansas City, and it's freezing cold, and everyone's going to be cold. It's going to be, the ground's going to be hard, and you see him out there just wheeling and dealing. And he makes plays, and you're just kind of like,
yeah. You tip the hat.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I get why why he's who he is, because he just gets the job done. You know what I mean? And I felt that way when we played him the first time in Germany. I mean, they ended up winning by like 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns, whatnot. But he just gets it done, and you can't make any mistakes. Whether it's 1, 2, you can't make anything. So
you and Channing got a couple things in common. You play for the Dolphins. You play defense.
Right.
The Chiefs was the coldest game. You didn't have any tackles because you was hurt.
Right.
This motherfucker played the whole game and didn't have a tackle.
He was too cold to tackle anybody. Larry Johnson? Hell no, you got it. It was too cold. My under 50 degrees, my production went down.
But how did you not have a single tackle?
Use that back.
I ran in and I went low. I had some assists, I think. Thanksgiving game, that's when you got hurt. Mm-hmm. But that's also when you had the 99-yard interception return.
Yeah.
I was there. Thanksgiving, took my family, took my kids, my 2 oldest kids, my wife. We in there, we in the box. I'm having a good time drinking scotch while you out there playing.
Right.
That interception return was amazing, but also getting hurt. What you have, the double MCL?
Double MCL. I got crushed by Conklin. He plays tight end. I went to tackle him, slipped. Then he fell on top of me. I'm in a pretzel.
And you did the Tootsie Roll.
Yeah, I did the Tootsie Roll. To the max though. I'm like, oh.
I was sitting there.
Oh, I leaned in there are you all right? Is your head? I'm like, it's my knees, my knees.
And my wife said, what's wrong with Jevon? I said,
yes,
something's wrong.
Yeah.
So at some point, you're going to have some children.
Right.
And they're going to watch that. They're going to watch the interception return because that was Thanksgiving Day, like the world watched that.
Right.
What do you think about from that game? Are you, in 20 years, you going to think about the interception return, which was beautiful? You like a punt returner, which, you had a little, what'd you call it, Freddie?
Loaf.
The
was
bread
light.
loaf?
It was
yeah.
Or
light.
are you going to be like, damn, that's when I Tootsie Rolled?
That's the game, not Tootsie Roll. That's the game, not Tootsie Roll. Because, man, that was like the highlight of the season. I'm like, just returned 99 yards. Like, let's go, going to halftime. Like, I got the ball with me, whatnot. We come out of halftime, like, cameras on me. I'm warming up. Like, I'm about to finish the game. Instagram about to be popping, Man, and then, like, third quarter, they kept running this little wide, like, quick pop pass. And then I remember, like, we called the same defense twice. And so I'm like, all right, grab, which is I stay in the inside, like, hook area. They did the first time. The guy, like, kind of tripped. The second time, he, like, quick snapped it. I'm running. I'm like, oh, I'm about to go blow him up. And then swoop, slip, get crushed. I get up. I'm like, damn, this can't be good. I started walking. I'm like, nope. I was like, I'm done for the game. Then I go to sleep. I get back to when I got back to the house, I'm like, kind of like, okay, my knees are kind of sore. But then when I woke up the next morning, I got up to pee, and I was like, something ain't right. Something ain't right. So.
I do have a question about the interception return. See, I never got to be the guy, right? I had a great career. I was blessed. I played with Sean Taylor.
Right.
You don't get to do cool stuff when you play with Sean because he gets to do all the cool stuff, right? I played with Troy.
Right.
Again, if it's a cool thing, when we going over the game plan, Troy, this is where you're going to be.
Yep.
Or there were even times in the game it was actually supposed to be the free safety, and Troy was like, and I was like, cool, I
Right.
get it,
Right.
Take me, for instance. Hail Mary, end of the half, I'm going to jump up and knock it down. You know why, Jevon? Because that's what the people tell me to do.
Right.
And I don't get to do cool things. Take me through, though, that playmaker's mindset of, one, I'm going to catch it. And not only am I going to catch it, I'm going to go try to score. That's a different level of excellence in the way that you think about playmaking. Just kind of take me through what that thought process was.
I mean, it's been a thing since I was a kid. Like, anytime I saw an opportunity, people throwing the ball up at halftime, that's a free pick. It happened to me in college when we played Cal. I tried to return, I got tackled. But when that play happened, so throughout the whole year, it's me, X, and Ramsey back deep. And I was going to the passing strength. And so in practice, X tried to go to the passing strength to the 3 receiver side, and I'm back on the 1 side. So I think something happened in practice, and they like caught the ball or something. So I'm like, I'm always to the passing strength, always. So that happened, and I knew that they were close enough to throw a Hail Mary, but I wasn't sure they were going to actually do it. I thought they were just going to take an ego at halftime because they're having a tough game. But they just had like 2 good plays. So I'm like, all right, they're going to throw it, you know what I'm saying? Get back deep. And then I thought he was going to get sacked by Chubb. And then I seen the ball in the air. So I hadn't had a pick I had some turnovers, but I hadn't had a pick that whole year. So as soon as the ball was in the air, I was like, oh yeah, this is the first pick. This is the first pick of the year. I need this. So I jump up, got the pick, and as I'm coming down, I'm looking to my left and my right, and I see all the receivers behind me. So I'm like, I know there's only one skill position down the field, and that's Brees. So if we could throw a block on Brees, everything else is like lineman. And I did drop field goal a lot my rookie year. So, you got to take it straight. As a returner, I noticed. So you take it straight up the middle, and then you bend to your sideline. That's what I did. Took it straight up the middle, bent to my sideline. When I seen Christian throw the block on Brees, I was like, oh yeah, I'm taking this to the crib. Right then in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, like I've been here before. I've felt this feeling before, cutting through linemen. Like, this has to be a touchdown. And then came around the corner, seen the quarterback. I'm sorry, quarterback, but I had to. Took your ankles. Touchdown.
You were Bishop O'Dowd's top receiver in high school. You had, this is crazy, y'all. I don't know who y'all
I'm glad you
was
brought
playing
this up.
against.
I'm glad you brought this up.
You had 1,012 yards, 12 touchdowns on 35 catches.
Yes, sir.
Bro, who were y'all, 29 to catch? Who were y'all playing?
It doesn't matter who was playing. It was about me going crazy at receiver.
You better receiver.
Come on
or
now.
safety?
I'm lining up like, hey, come on, take it up top. Coach knew.
So you're a better receiver or safety?
I'm better safety. Actually,
Oh, geez.
Because the way you ran that ball back,
In my youth, I'm a better receiver. But now I'm a better safety, just because I've been working at it. But I almost played receiver at Oregon now. They almost gave me that. But COVID happened, the whole season got messed up. But I was training in the offseason to be a receiver. For real.
Wow.
In the offseason, at David's Elite Week, you got an opportunity to work with Derwin James. I was coaching, by the way. Just want to throw that out there.
Yep.
Coaching him and Derwin?
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah, they ain't learned nothing.
they certainly didn't learn nothing about no talent.
Can I come to your defense, bro? He played for 13 years.
Honestly, he's cool.
That's
You know how
a
to give him a
lot.
hard
That's a
time.
lot, brother.
But like truly, iron sharpens iron. And you mentioned what Jaylen was able to show you, not only by the way he can perform talent-wise, but the way he works and the way he approaches things. Like, I always love getting opportunities to be around other good players, whether it be in my position or not, just to see how they approach work, how they approach the game. Derwin is as intense of a human as
100%.
I've ever been around when it comes to that. This dude committed to Florida State in the 8th grade, by the way, so he's also a freak of nature.
Right.
What are some of the things you take away from those sorts of encounters that you try to bring back, not necessarily as a player, but as a leader in the locker room?
From Derwin specifically, especially with this last encounter, one thing that sat with me was his desire to find work in any aspect. Jogging back to the line after we do a drill, consistently get going over and over again, trying to perfect the drill. Not because he's trying to get it completely right, but because he wants to get the feel for it and he wants to work it, and so that's second nature. But that jogging back to the line, thing really sat with me, and it sat with me because that's something that I find myself doing. You know what I mean? Like, in any way, shape, or form, if I can get the upper hand, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? And I think Derwin has that in everything that he does, because he's so addicted to being the best, and he's so addicted to trying to, get to that point to where he's, better than anybody else. So I think that's like kind of
what I love, like what I took away from working with him was him constantly telling y'all, get uncomfortable. Remember, we were doing the one drill, and I was like, y'all got to run. Like, and it was, I was trying to put y'all in this uncomfortable situation that in the game you probably would never want to be in. Right. But we know all the time those people get paid so much money on the other side that you're going to be in positions you don't want to be in. And I wanted to see y'all scramble out of that and react to it. And every time somebody would stop short, he just kept saying, get uncomfortable, be uncomfortable. And I think that was what I took from him, because it was a lack of fear of embarrassment, a lack of fear of failure. He was just like, this is where we find a way to get to the next level. How do you find a way to get to the next level? I said it when I did your pre-draft analysis, because I watched you play nickel. And I was like, okay, he can do so much. He can cover slots, right? He can obviously play the football, has great ball skills, great understanding of the game. But there has to be a point where you start to ascend, and when the Jesse Bates and the Minka Fitzpatricks and the Derwin James are mentioned, they start to mention Jevon Holland. What is your process of taking that next step and truly becoming one of those guys that's a household name at the position?
I think it's exactly what you said, is finding ways to be uncomfortable in an environment where I can grow. Because I think, at a certain point you start to level out when you think about coverage technique and how fast you can run, or your ability to get the ball. But I think that growth comes once you're put in positions that make you uncomfortable. And so I think that right there, what you just said, is exactly what I need to do, is put myself in a position where I'm uncomfortable and thrive in there, so that when I am in that position in the field, like, I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Thriving. We spoke about the defense already and the expectations of what this season is going to bring. You know what I'm saying? The offense is all they talk about.
Right.
But you can't give up 40 and score 38. You got to win.
Right.
On Instagram, I loved it because I'm silly. When Vic Fangio left, I just want you to verbalize your video, which was pretty. I don't know if y'all saw it.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Which was you
Right.
throwing up rocks and kicking them. I assumed kick rocks, get out of here.
Right.
Why was that your response to Vic deciding to go to Philly?
One, that was what I first thought of. Two, because I felt like even though he was our coach, he wanted to be somewhere else. even though that he was teaching us and we were learning his defense and we were under him and his pupils and whatnot, we weren't necessarily where he wanted to be at. And so I was like, peace. And I could feel that off of him throughout the whole season. Great mind, knows ball.
Y'all were good defense.
You know what I'm saying? We were a top defense, but I just didn't feel like he really wanted to be here, which is fine. I mean, you know what I mean? He has the pick of the litter, and, you know, he got to go where he wants to go, and I wish him nothing but the best. But, like, if you don't want to be here, then you don't got to be here.
And now the transition with Weaver.
Right.
What's the change? Because y'all got dogs, y'all brought in dogs, y'all got dogs coming back off injury. Like, this roster's stupid.
Right.
With Weaver, how is the defense changing? You know, what have you seen? And to be honest, you hit it on the head. You're about to change your grandkids' life, but now you're learning the defense. Just that transition from Fangio now to Weaver.
So this is my 4th DC in my 4 years.
That's ridiculous.
Yep, 4th DC, 4th DB coach, 4th safety coach, 4th system, 4th playing style, because, you know, it changes a lot. Weave has made it the most enjoyable so far. You know what I mean? He knows ball. He's a front guy because he played D-line, so he knows the front. He knows the back end and how to tie it together. He's got the people around him, you know, to help us as a collective come together. But I just overall the message and the motivation, like, you know how when you hear Dan Campbell speak about ball and about wanting his players to have that passion in them, that's how Weave talks. That's like the closest thing the closest example I can give you besides telling you about my pops. Like, that's how Weave is. He fills us with that passion, and you want to go out there and play for him. You want to go out there and play for him. You want to go out there and play well and perform and do the things that he's asking because he's been there before. He understands how to speak to the team and the defense, and he understands where our mindset is. Like, we're trying to go out there and dominate, and he understands that in order to dominate, we have to be comfortable. In order to be comfortable, you gotta make things easy, simple, and you gotta make us move fast. And that's like that's the mindset that we all have. And, you know, that's like the culture that he wants to develop for the defense.
You're coming in here on your off day to give us some time. We appreciate it. Miami is wild, especially for a young kid.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times they talk about the distractions that can come with playing here. People say the Dolphins will never win a championship because of the distractions. Channing spoke about your eyes earlier in the show. What do you do in your time away from the building, like on a day-to-day?
Yeah, so anytime I got opportunity to go away from the building, I go like fish, golf. I have a girlfriend, we have 2 cats. Go watch a movie. I took a pottery class last off day. Yeah, I just made like a little bowl for my cat Rocco. Yeah, man. I know you're looking at me with like a look of disgust, but
You got a cat? Cats?
I got 2 cats. I got
what?
Rocco and Remy. Rocco's a blue-eyed Russian, and then Remy's a black stray cat that my girlfriend found when she was in New York. She was like a little kid.
That's nasty. Jay, that's nasty.
But you can't wear shoes in this house.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
And got nasty
but
cats
hold on,
running
no, but
around.
hold on. We clean the
scratching
cats.
the
Got
couch,
cats got the
peeing
shots.
everywhere.
They not peeing everywhere. They train. All right. We got the little automatic robot with the cats peeing. The robot cleans it out. Come on now. If I'm not letting you shoes get in the house, I'm definitely not letting the cat pee all over the floor. The cat getting kicked out if the cat peeing on the floor multiple times.
So the cat can come in off the street, but I got to take my shoes off.
The cat was cleaned and gave her all the shots. They're indoor cats. They're not outdoor cats.
Yeah. And this is a difficult transition. I thought about it when Channing mentioned Vic Fangio, and I don't really care about that part of it or you explaining that. I do care about your willingness to speak up. Sometimes, as someone who is very much like that, it rubs people the wrong way. And you can put yourself in situations and positions where they start to feel a certain way about you. There's, a story about George Floyd, 2020 at Oregon, where you decided to speak up, where you thought it was important. Listening to you early speak about your brother saying, okay, this is a better place to go for a young black man. Where did this sense of pride and purpose come from in being a young black man in this country that you were willing to speak up to Mario Cristobal at that time and say, no, like, you would care or you should care about what happened to George Floyd?
I think it comes from my parents. You know what I mean? My parents and my older brother and my grandparents, just having a strong moral compass. And then being proud to be black. You know what I mean? A lot of people in this country just don't like me just because of the way I look. And I got no problem with that because that's the problem that they got with themselves, that they need to handle with themselves. But being proud to be black, being American and Canadian, and then also being a proud black man that is in an opportunity to change my family's life and have a platform to help others change theirs. So I think that's really where that comes from. I studied ethnic studies in college because I wanted to get to know people more. And I think I've always had a desire to help people that, are in need, in any way, shape, or form. But I think that desire to speak up just comes from me thinking somebody has to do it, so why not me?
Who's the best quarterback in the AFC that's not named Patrick Mahomes?
Tua.
Why would you ask that question?
Tua be throwing
Ain't
that thing.
nobody has outperformed Tua except for Pat, and he's won the last 2 Super Bowls in the last 2
It's a
years.
bad question.
He's supposed to say that.
He doesn't really have to.
I mean, he's right. I really don't have to, but I mean, the right answer is Tua. Nobody's outperformed him except for Pat in the last 2 years.
That's
so.
also not true.
Oh, good Josh, Lamar.
100%.
Well, Burrow was hurt.
Oh, well, Lamar, yeah, he went crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's just,
they're different players, though, because
yeah,
Lamar
no,
got the feet.
I think
Tua over under on rushing is 1.8 yards a
Yeah,
game.
no,
He ain't going to rush.
I do believe that it's a difficult question to answer about your teammate. I think he's supposed to say that.
Yeah.
I think if he says something different, then everybody's going to be like, Jevon Holland, this football savant, has picked another quarterback over his quarterback, besides the obvious one that you could pick over every quarterback, right? And then when he picks his quarterback, people like me who disagree are going to say, of course, you picked your quarterback.
Yeah,
It's a tough question. Now, what I do want to know is, should Tyreek Hill be the #1 player on the top 100?
I mean, Lamar did win MVP, right?
Yeah.
So, but then Reek, Pat Mahomes, Lamar. I mean, I feel like you can't go wrong with any of them. Christian McCaffrey was number 3, right?
Christian McCaffrey's #3.
Yeah, so
Lamar was #2.
Who was 5? Chris Jones?
Chris Jones was 7.
I think the top 4, you could just like flip them around. They'd be the same.
But I like it because quarterbacks get all the damn trophies. And so now I would say that Tyreek is better at receiver
Okay.
than Patrick Mahomes is at playing quarterback.
Survey says no.
No, survey doesn't say no. What Tyreek did last year, there was quarterback Tua. Tua had more passing yards than Patrick, right?
Yes.
Tyreek led the NFL in receiving yards. Tyreek led the NFL in yards per reception. Tyreek led in every category of a wide receiver. Patrick and him didn't. Tyreek is better at his job than those guys are at their job. Talking about numbers. Y'all want to talk numbers? I'm talking
Channing,
about numbers.
this is Jevon's show. We will
I'm
handle
sorry,
this
I'm
at
sorry.
another time.
Okay, we'll deal with this later.
That's a good point, though.
Jay, just to end the show, man, I think the cool part about training camp is I know this personally. Not every team walks into training camp and can win a Super Bowl. There are teams in this league that no matter what they do this year, they are not going to win a Super Bowl. They are not going to have a shot to win a Super Bowl. The Miami Dolphins are not like that. How much of a difference is there in the feeling of your opportunity to do that than last year? Because last year was sort of a prove-it year. Tua had to be healthy. You had a new defense. You end up bringing in Jaylen. Like, a lot of things had to end up happening. Now you walk into this year knowing exactly who you are. What's the feeling like in the locker room?
It's great. It's almost like it's there for the taking. If we put it together, it's literally all on us. That's it. If we decide to go get it, if we decide to put the games together, if we decide to orchestrate the way that we want to, practice, how we want to play, it's all on us. Last year, there were, like you said, there was a lot of outside factors, whatnot. This year, I feel like the weight off Tua, like him getting paid, he just go out there and play. You know what I mean? Like, you don't got to prove yourself. You just got to go out there and do what you've been doing your whole life. It's just play ball.
Weight is definitely off Tua, literally and figuratively. What did y'all say? How did y'all respond in the locker room when he said Tua was thicker than a Snicker?
Bro, first I was like...
That was wild.
Bro, what? Like, what was going through your mind when you said that? Like, I know you was like, no.
I don't know.
So
Thicker than a Snicker is
me and
crazy.
Tyreek, I never said he was thicker than a Snicker. That's
You just said, what'd you say? Thicker
I
than a
would
bowl of
never say
oatmeal?
that. I said
He said something crazy.
I said he looked he put on some weight, and I said he looked like he could work at Onyx because he had a very thick lower half.
That's
Pause.
actually crazy.
I don't, you know, but
You said
so,
he was thicker than cold honey.
so here's the thing, right? And I can admit this, right? Troy, right, is one of my best friends in the world. He's Polynesian, Samoan as well.
Right.
And when we played in the Super Bowl in 2008, he was 245. Right? Just because he just has the propensity to gain weight.
It's stocky.
And those are me, Ike, B-Mac. That's the way we talk to him. Or we talk to any one of our homeboys who put on weight. Like, we just joke.
Right.
Right? Like, I wasn't serious. We're just talking out loud, laughing, joking, locker room talk. And when everybody reacted to it, my first thought was, they can't tell I was joking. And now, don't get me wrong. I do understand the difference that people look at my job like you're supposed to be being professional, and I can't say what Tyreek said about him when he came back skinny. And it's also okay to say somebody was fat when they're now skinny. Right? Or what Jaylen said about him, right? We all know I was correct. I'm just not his homeboy.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, I get that. And which was why, when it all was said and done, I was like, look, I had no intent to disrespect, no intent to insult. I was just having fun, having a good time. But I was just it was locker room talk. You know?
I mean,
I love it. But earlier I asked you, and this is it for me. Earlier I asked you, I said I had 5 names. We only got through 4. And I guess we're saving the best for last because he's in here and he doesn't always get the credit that he deserves for the position that he played at an extremely high level, especially going undrafted, winning Super Bowls and leading that defense. The other name is Ryan Clark.
man.
Why do y'all do this to me all the time?
Nah, because I used to watch RC's tape, and I always remember when you hit Wes Welker. I was like, damn. It's difficult to describe your game because, like you said, like Troy was like the guy, right? But you were the one that was like, I'll do everything else. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And being in that position, because I've felt that before, being in that position, like you do everything right and you make everything right. And that's really what's important.
Yep.
Like making the plays is the big thing, but play in and play out, making everything right, making everything function as the free safety. And that is something that's underappreciated because a lot of people don't understand that. Like you may be in a position where the quarterback automatically cancels a route that was his number one, and it causes, James Harrison to get a pick or Troy Polamalu to get a pick. You know what I'm saying? So I could feel the position that you're in and that you were playing in because I felt that before as I was playing, but.
Sick and unappreciated. That's what it is. That's the hashtag.
I'm sick. He don't know I'm sickly.
Come on, get your goddamn Rottweiler. Get your Rhodesian Ridgeback.
I'm gonna get it when I get a little more backyard. I'm gonna get a Doberman with floppy ears.
Oh, okay.
Respect, big dog. Good luck to you too. Get that check.
Cool.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got a pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On this vision, I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got a pin in it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up.